point into our simulated countdown.
Lunchtime, kids! All right!
Yum, 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 yum.
Hello, friends. It's lunchtime.
Hello, and welcome to the Lunch Break Show. I am Josh. If you guys could see the chaos that happens before the show actually starts, I think you'd be thoroughly impressed. I think Zach and Matt are both kind of slightly annoyed because it was entirely my fault.
I'm good.
Who's annoyed?
I'm seeing the looks back and forth. I'm reading the room. I'm reading the chemistry.
I'm not annoyed.
It feels aggressive.
No. I genuinely wonder if there'd be any value based on our viewership of just starting the stream at noon and whatever is happening is what goes live. Like, I mean, not to say that would be any more entertaining than what we do now because the show is about as entertaining as it gets. But I mean it. The shenanigans around here are pretty good. Like leading up to the show, every once in a while I think to myself, this might actually be worth just throwing out there. Like, who would we offend? Who
Everything we do is worth it.
And while I'm at it, while I'm on my soapbox, check it out. I'm watching the show on Twitter. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think
changing it up.
technically it's Periscope, but yeah.
Let's not confuse the viewers.
Yeah, let's not.
All right, it's Twitter. It's fine.
But yeah, I was running around. Someone came in asking for a card. I said I got confused. I thought they wanted my business card. I had to run out and chase them. Showed the countdown is going.
It was a good hustle.
It was a good hustle, yeah. And for a big guy, I'm light on my feet.
I had a whole spiel I was ready to work out for introing the show if you weren't here, and you made it back. So I'll save it for next time.
Yeah,
but, I didn't actually have any spiel. I didn't know what I was going to do. But
good news for me is Sunday. The Cowboys played the Giants. Home opener. We won. That is going to be your sports recap.
Welcome to Sports Talk, RNCN.
Yeah, we won. If you were by some chance a weirdo that like records the game because you can't watch it live, and I've spoiled it for you somehow, How
much do you respect the people who do that?
Here's the deal. I used to do that, and you have like a 3 or 4 hour window.
Yeah, it's not big in live sports.
No.
Right.
You get a 3 or 4 hour window. Like for me, there would be times when I used to have the recording capability on cable when I actually had cable. And I would record a game because I was going to be out or having lunch, or I just hate watching commercials and I can like fast forward through them. I think it's a reasonable ask to say that you got a 4 or 5 hour cap where if I know if I stay off text or if I stay off tweets, I should be fine. I think that's okay.
So I would do that when I would work till, I don't know, 7 or 8 o'clock sometimes, and I'd want to watch the Mavs game. So I'd record it, but then, I would just catch up through the breaks usually.
Yeah.
I would never, ever, I wouldn't be angry at somebody if they were to say, oh, man, did you see the Mavs win last night or lose last night, and I had the game recorded? Like, how can you assume that, if you know I'm a fan, how can you assume that I haven't watched the game?
There's one guy who did something similar that like he did the Super Bowl or whatever it was. He like recorded that, and it was like the next day, and we're at the radio station, and that's all people they talk about. All it's just current events. If you ever want to know what's going on at a radio station, it's just current events. That is it.
Yeah,
and that is the biggest thing in sports, well, at least in football, is Super Bowl. And he says, I'm recording it. Don't talk about it. I'm like, no, stop.
Sorry, dude.
You don't get to do that.
Yeah,
no.
call in sick at that point in time.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest sporting events in the world. Like, I don't watch football ever, and like I know who wins the Super Bowl by the end of the Super Bowl. Like, if you don't know by the next day, you're a man on an island.
You're toast.
You're doomed.
But there's another big story that happened in football. There's actually 2 that took place over the weekend. One involving hometown team, UNT.
The UNT, yes.
Uh,
Alma mater, yeah.
Yeah, alma mater for Zach.
Yep.
And several other
The
people we
Flying
found
Eagles.
out. Yeah, the
What are
Flying
they?
Eagles.
The
Mean Green
The Mean
Eagles.
Green
That's
Eagles.
right.
Yeah, they were horrible for quite some time.
Still are, but I mean,
No. They're improving. They're not. I think.
Well, you build an $80 million stadium, and I pay a good chunk of my student loans into it. Yeah, they get pretty good, I guess. So
Yeah.
I'm not bitter about that. It's fine.
Well, but for a while, like no one knew UNT for football. It was kind of like the Baylor of like
Right.
a team that you had on your schedule. It was a surefire win.
Yeah.
But now they put up a bit of a.
They're okay.
fight.
Yeah. This is the first time playing against Arkansas since 2007.
Yeah.
And they won, which does not happen.
Yeah.
So that was a surprise. Yeah.
And-
pretty
and-
handily, right?
And part of that was the trickery. So if you're unfamiliar with football,
tomfoolery, yeah.
the trickery. If you're unfamiliar with football, during a kickoff or a punt, you're able to call for a fair catch.
Which means what?
Fair catch means you can't tackle me. I catch the ball, and that's where we have it.
I
stopping.
promise. I
Right.
promise to not run.
Yeah,
with this
afterwards,
football.
yeah, it's a fair catch.
Right.
I have to catch it, and then that's where the ball is dead. It's right there.
How is this normally signaled?
This?
Okay. I thought
Hands
it was
above
like
the
you take
head.
a knee or something.
No, hands above
Yeah.
the head. That's when you're in the end zone.
Right.
You take
Okay, got it. Yeah, but it's some kind of like, hey, we're done.
Yeah,
Stop.
and sorry to correct. You can only fair catch on a punt.
Okay.
I think once the ball is kicked, it's a live ball for a kickoff.
Okay.
So for a punt, you can fair catch because what happens is you could be a few yards back and you could punt, and you could just drill someone if you timed it right.
Right.
So they allowed the fair catch to protect. So you'll see here, it's pulled up on the screen. Here's how the play went. I'll kind of give you the play-by-play afterwards.
I'm not going to play the sound because I
Okay.
have no idea what the right
Play-by-play
issues
now.
are.
That's
Yeah.
probably true. So you see the guy here. He catches the ball. Everyone stops.
Yep.
And
He's
they're all
acting
walking
like-
off. Yep. And then he takes off.
He takes
And
off.
so
running.
what that is that he never called for a fair catch.
Right.
He just pretended like he called for a
That
fair
game
catch.
never stopped. Yeah.
The game never stopped. So what happens is when you're running down the field, naturally your head goes down because you're in a full sprint to go get the guy who's about to catch the ball.
Yeah.
And so you're not reacting to what is actually happening. You're just reacting to the player. If he's looking like he's about to run, then you drill him.
Right.
So he played it super safe. Now, the only thing is that if somebody would have just left their feet and he's just standing there and hit him in the chest, that could have really hurt that guy.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Like that could have been a you're leaving the game type of hit.
Oh sure.
So if that was a strategic plan, super dangerous play.
You gotta be sweating if you're that dude.
Yeah.
You know,
And like, is this gonna work out or not?
Yeah, or am I about to die?
Yeah.
There's two options. Either I'm a hero and I score a touchdown, or this is the last moments on earth.
Yeah.
For me.
there's another angle of that from kind of the front side when he catches the ball. It's not the side view like we just saw, and like it's funny, man. When he catches that ball, you can see him hanging on to it, and he's holding it pretty tight, like because he knew I'm about to run, and no, I don't know if this is gonna work or not, but he looks like he's shaking a little bit, really. Like he's holding that thing tight. And
Yeah.
He should, because man, what a play.
Yeah, it is a very dangerous position to be in.
Yeah.
So good for them. That happened. TCU tried some other trickery when they were at the Cowboy game, which is one of the players lies down. This is on a kickoff. They lie down on the colored part of the grass in the end zone, so you don't see him. And then when you kick the ball off, what they do is one guy catches it, so everyone's running toward the one guy, and then that guy pops up, and it looks super dumb when it's not done correctly.
I did not see this.
Yeah, so TCU played Ohio State, and so there's a guy like laying down in the
Awesome.
eye of the Ohio.
Sure.
And he's like laying down. Or sorry, they played Ohio University. I apologize. And then he got up to go like pop up to like I'm here, and they threw it wrong. And it was a forward pass, which you're not allowed to do. Either way, it got called back. So that to me is the most embarrassing when you do a trick play wrong,
Right.
Because the guy that threw it got lit up. If you can find that video, the guy that threw it got lit up. Like he will think twice before that play gets called again.
Damn.
And the whole thing was for nothing. It got called back. And
I'll see if I can find this.
yeah, it's TCU and Ohio, and it was a kickoff, which you can't call a fair catch on.
Yeah.
He's going to do a backwards pass, which you can do. and they ran it all the way in for an end zone. That would be the most frustrating part for me. Is I ran the ball in the 110 yards. I did a 110-yard sprint, and for nothing.
Right.
It got called back.
Where do we land? Because I'm a fair outsider of sports. Don't really keep up. Where do we land on the honor of sport and the scoundrel of the trick play?
I like the trick play.
Yeah, is it a horrible thing that nobody should do? And if you respect the sport and you respect the field or whatever that crap is about how sports are great.
Yeah. So you see here on the screen, he's laying down.
He is laying down.
And this
on
is
the state, Ohio
sadly
State.
a very poor, like some guy's filming this off his TV, but you can see it over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I
This
do want to see
is
this.
lying down. This is the guy that actually catches the ball.
Yeah, everyone thinking that this is the guy right here. So you go ahead and hit play.
At first, I was thinking, well, is he camouflaged? But he's not. You can see him just fine. You're just not paying
but when
attention
you're
to
looking down the field, you only see the guy standing.
Right.
So
there he passes
but
it.
That was
But it
a
was a
forward
forward.
pass. Yeah. So this guy runs the whole thing, and they're all like dancing in the end zone. And the
this
whole
dude-
thing gets called. Yeah, he gets drilled. But
Oh my God.
yeah. So again,
Camera
like,
just cuts away.
so you see, UNT did a correct trick play.
Yeah.
TCU did an incorrect trick play, and you know what? UNT won.
Yeah.
TCU lost. Is
Trick plays.
Yeah,
There you go.
trick plays count.
So trick plays are okay.
Yeah,
in your
trick
book.
plays are okay to me. It's all part of the game. If you can do it, it's a play. It's
Right.
not a trick play.
Right. It's okay.
And then lastly, in sports news, and I promise we have other topics to talk about, it is the Buffalo Bills.
Okay. The
So
Bills.
The Bills are playing, I believe, the Chargers. And you know how I know that you have beat the other team?
How's that?
When the other team retires at halftime.
Yeah.
That's how you know we beat you. When you just go, I quit.
It's a rage quit in real life.
Just like every sports story. Yeah, I saw this headline on Twitter and was like, well, I'm not going to click it because I don't know enough about it. But just reading it, I was like, that doesn't sound like how it sounds in the headline. No, it's exactly how it sounded in the headline.
Yeah, he walked in for halftime and said, enough. This is a defensive linebacker, walks in at halftime and just goes, I quit. I don't need to play anymore. I retire. And left. Like, just left. That has, to my knowledge, never happened.
I've never ever
in
heard
football.
of that.
It's very odd. It reminded me of like Samuel L. Jackson's character in Pulp Fiction. Just like, I'm out. That's it. I'm done. Like that.
Yeah.
That's it. Like what? What do you mean you're done? Like you just cut out one day halfway through a game. I'm out. Any reasoning behind that? Is
So
there any?
he had an official statement that was clearly written by a publicist.
That's what publicists are for.
Yeah. Who said that he has always prided himself, and I'm paraphrasing, obviously, prided himself in that every time he took the field, his heart and mind was in it to give 110%. And then in that game, he realized, in the first quarter, second quarter, that his heart and mind was no longer in it, and he wanted to focus on other things. Like, talk about ultimate ADD when you're lined up, like, I really don't want to be here.
Dude, like, how do you not you're a professional.
Yep.
And I don't know enough about this gentleman to know how long he's been in the league.
10 years.
10
He
so
was
you've
30,
been in the league
yeah.
for 10 years.
Yep.
You can't stick it out for 2 more quarters, fake it.
Yeah,
Like, I get
it's
it.
bad to quit midseason. It is horrible to quit mid-game.
Yeah.
Like, mid-season quitting is pretty awful. Quitting when at the beginning of the game, be like, I'm done. I don't want to be here. I'll finish out this quarter, I'll finish out this quarter for you guys, but a half.
Yeah.
So what's next then? Springboard off like a book deal, some kind of like
What
inspiration
book deal?
and call it
Yeah.
halfway through or something.
When it gets tough, quit by whatever his name is.
You know that guy could write a book and people would buy
Yeah,
it. That'd
like
be on the New York Times bestseller, like
T.
whatever.
Davis, I think his name is.
Yeah. What really happened or something, or I don't know what the angle would be.
He just said that his
but-
heart and mind was no longer in the game, and he wanted to focus on his family and what his next chapter in life.
he
Selling cars.
Selling cars.
He
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle'd his way right out of a game.
Yeah,
Just I'm cutting, going to Africa. It's fine.
The players being interviewed afterward were like, I have never heard of this. Like, not in Pop Warner.
Yeah, what is
not
that?
in junior high, not in high school, not in college, not in Canada. Like, I've never heard of someone quitting mid-game
Very odd.
and being
It's
like,
impressive.
deuces, I'm out. So this guy, to my knowledge, was the first. So kudos to
Trendsetter.
you.
Well done, sir.
Way to be the first.
A tip of the helmet.
Tip of the helmet. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have Cactus Talk coming up on Real News Communication Network right here on the Lunch Break Show.
It's a good pivot.
Thank you. I have it on, I think. There we go. And we are back on the Lunch Break Show. Again, I am Josh. This is Matt and Zach. We got so caught up in the sports talk, I forgot to do the official, appropriate introduction. And I will say this. I was not on the Friday show. I'm so sorry I couldn't be here. And I wasn't there to protect myself from the hazing that you guys gave me.
Hazing?
I watched. When I'm not on the show, I clearly watch the show.
As you should.
Yeah, as I should. You guys said I was a music hoarder.
Yeah,
like
you were hoarding you were hoarding the music at the moment because I had no access to it.
You have the same access as I do to the sites.
I explained all of that very clearly.
You
Right.
did. Schmaudios blocks, I believe was the term you used. We have in the news today from the Telegraph, the headline says, students give cacti to remind them not to harass or bully their peers. I don't understand the comparison to getting a cacti.
Well, so it's I'm pulling it up right now. It's at Dundee University, which I'm not sure, but it's from the Telegraph, so I assume it's somewhere in the UK.
Yep.
So they were given a cactus. It says, "Don't sexually harass or bully their peers." It had the slogan, "Don't be." I feel like I could just say that, right?
Yeah.
Don't be a prick.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's not.
Yeah.
That's in context. That's fine.
I think so.
That
Yeah,
flies.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
they're handing it out in college, so I could say it here.
Wait, this is a college that's doing this?
Yes.
A college is trying to deal with bullying? Who's getting...
Scotland, Anna's saying.
Thank
for
you,
the back.
thank you, Anna.
Okay, I got it. I was like, really? This is like a thing in college? People are bullying each other and
Yeah.
college has to deal with
That
that?
happens in the workplace.
Well, yeah, but...
Does it not?
We're not giving out cacti. Not down here. I think we're pretty congenial. If anybody's bullying down here, I'm the bully, I think. Yeah. So things are fine.
They go on to say they have adopted these preventative measures against unacceptable behavior such as racist, sexist, or disableist comments and the exposure of sexual organs. The vice president for student welfare says, "We want each cactus taken home to remind students that every day that we are the safest nightclub in Dundee and that we have services and processes in place to help them with any issue they might face." So, first of all, I was going to ask if you think simply giving someone a cactus is going to keep them from being an a-hole on campus.
If anything, you've given the bully a weapon to throw at someone.
Stop. Nobody's going to throw cacti. Unless you're like a really good bully. That would be.
Yeah,
That's
that'd be
top
pretty
notch.
dope, yeah.
That's top class.
Boom. Yeah.
That'd be impressive.
You know what I think of this?
I get the symbolism. Like you're trying to, like, I see something, I'm reminded. I don't think those ever work. I don't think I've ever like seen something and be like, oh, well, I shouldn't haze this person because I got a cacti 4 weeks ago.
Right. I'm feeling particularly angry at this person, but oh, look, my cactus.
My cactus.
Oh,
All
right.
right.
Oh, right.
Really
I'm not
Let's-
supposed to be mean.
Let's make our claim here. What is the better option, do you think? How do you what's a better solution than cactus? Besides anything, right?
I think harsher punishments. Like actually, like when you harass someone and
Right.
we can find evidence you did,
Right.
you're out of school.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, being a college,
Like,
that would make sense to me.
done.
Like you choose to be here. Yeah,
Yeah.
like if you're going to choose to not follow the rules,
Yeah.
we can choose to throw you out.
We
but
keep the semester's tuition you've already paid, and you get to go home.
I guess the theory is that we kill them with kindness, right? Like give them a cactus. It's like, oh, it's a sweet thing, and maybe they'll feel better. And like, really, I hate to say at that level you should respond in kind, but when it comes to bullying in college, I would think, yeah, throw them out. Like, you don't have to be here, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go back to the gym. How about that? Lift some weights. Work out that anger.
So this reminded me of, and I've been trying for the last half hour to get confirmation on this because what I'm about to say sounds so insane that I feel like I'm remembering it incorrectly. But I have carried this with me for years. It reminds me of a program that we used to do in middle school. And it was called, it was something to do with dot. I think it was like Blue Dot Day or Red Dot Day, something like that.
Okay.
And so
Blue Dot Day. Got it.
they would go around, and I think this was for 8th graders, perhaps 7th or 8th graders.
Probably, yeah.
They would go around and they would randomly give people dots that you had to wear on your shirt.
Okay.
And I think that the purpose of this was to teach you a lesson on either it wasn't about bullying necessarily, but it was like how
people are different.
Right, how people are different, but it was tied into lessons about racism, about the Holocaust, about like really intense stuff. But the underlying thing that happened was you wore a blue dot, and that just gave other people who weren't wearing blue dots free reign to kind of do whatever they wanted.
Right. It's like The Color Purple.
Yes. So
which was a book that was banned because that idea didn't seem to pan out. But your school openly embraced this.
We openly embraced this. And I'm like, as I say it, I'm like, how could that be true? Because basically, if you were wearing a dot, people would just knock your books out of your hand, make you late to class.
Yeah. Didn't Stanford try this experiment and they went horribly wrong? Where they got students together and
you think of the Stanford prison experiment.
Exactly.
And yes.
We're like, hey, and that's with like college age students,
right?
Like, only imagine when they're more juvenile. Going, hey, you have open season on anybody with a blue or a red dot to do whatever you want.
How many people were in your middle school class? Do you know?
Oh gosh, I mean, my graduating class was 150, so I mean, probably about that in middle school, I would think. In my class,
because I would expect something like that from a smaller school, and I would say that in perspective of mine, which my graduating class is like 780. But like when I say smaller, I mean like my mom's hometown, like 25 kids or something, like a real small pool. Yeah. Maybe I would expect that. Like 150 kids, you got them running around doing that. That seems like bad news all around. This is a real thing.
This was a real thing, and like I remember people thinking about, oh God, Blue Dot Day is coming up. Or whatever, like it would happen once a year, and then it was. I don't think
last year they beat the hell out of me. Now I'm gonna get mine.
I don't think. I'm sure physical violence was not allowed. But it was like again, it wasn't like the
minor
purge. Bullying.
It was stuff. Like the purge. Yeah,
It was minor bullying type stuff, like making you late for class or locking up your locker or. Just doing things like that, and I'm like, this sounds. If you were to pitch that in a modern day education setting, it sounds insane.
It sounds insane now. There's probably a reason you can't find any documentation about this, because whoever came up with it has removed. Just get rid of it all.
I promise you, it was a true thing.
Oh my God,
that's so funny.
You were witness to a mass hate crime, is what happened. Once a year. It was like the purge. My God,
that explains so much, Matt.
Right, exactly.
I see it now
you're all gonna put on blue dots.
Come on, be honest. Now that you're on the spot here, how many times were you that kid that like knocked somebody's books out of their hand? Or,
I honestly don't. I cannot remember what I was. What I was on that. I don't think I had a dot that day.
There's going to be a counseling session at some point in time in your life.
It's all going to
come back.
Yeah,
I realized.
Man, oh God, I would have been that kid. I think if I ever had a day where like I got to bully other kids with I would have leaned. Why wouldn't you? You're middle school. Like, of course you're going to do that. Any kid would do that. Yeah. When teachers are like, all right, go ahead and bully them. Like. Yeah, like totally. Whatever you say, yeah. Like,
and I do think there was a fairness aspect to it where they would flip it like at the end of the day. Yeah, like you would. Oh, now the blue dots get to do whatever they want to do, and they would. But there were more of us than there were of them.
That's not fair, because whoever gets it at the end of the day can't get got back. Like, that's the deal.
Yeah.
If you get it in the second half of the day, congrats. Like, come tomorrow, you're invincible. You know, like nothing can happen to you. Oh man,
it was. It's crazy, and every time I think, I get. It's one of those things where you think back to it, and you get uncomfortable, and I'm like, wow, I really did. I mean, I never thought about school being that way, but I'm like, I really did go to a weird place sometimes.
That's so funny.
Yeah, good story.
Good story. Yeah, take a quick break. We come back. We have a guy who won a bookshop in a raffle. Ooh. That and more coming next on the Lunch Break Show. So we are back on the Lunch Break Show. Again, I am Josh. This is Matt, and this is Zach. We're here every Monday and Friday on the Lunch Break show, which is here on RNCN, where we do basically any kind of water cooler conversation. If you have any stories that you find out there in the internet world and you want to share those with us, you can on Facebook, Twitter, and or YouTube. Be more than happy to check those out. I'm looking at a story right here, and there's no wonder this bookstore was about to go out of business. This guy sounds like he is horrible at doing business.
Yeah.
So it is another one of those UK bookstores. It's in, looks like it's called Bookends in Carden, which I'm not sure what that is. I'm guessing somewhere in the UK.
I don't know.
And he raffles off the bookstore because he was about to have to close his doors. So instead of closing his doors, he raffles it off. So you didn't really save the book company. You just gave your problem to someone else who paid $20 to enter a raffle to own a bookstore.
What a terrible raffle.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
you wanna...
do you want a hassle and a problem? Just give me $20.
I mean, I guess it's with the hopes that somebody else will figure it out. But when you create a store for yourself, it's your baby, it's your thing. So rather than see it die, you pass it along to somebody else in the hopes that maybe they'll be able to pick it up where you left off. I guess that's the dream, anyway.
So a handful of people, the estimated value was $30,000. He wanted to give someone a chance to realize their dream of running a bookshop. So anyone who spent $20 was eligible to enter the raffle.
Okay, so you had to spend $20 like on books.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you bought a $20 ticket. You just spent $20 there, and
on
you were
books,
all right.
and you were eligible to win.
Gotcha.
Which, by the way, is like one book. So what do you like $200 in books? Like one book.
Right.
Even when I was in junior high, I had access to $20. So that wasn't like a big feat. 60 people, him, the guy that won, and 59 other people entered the drawing.
Oh,
so
man. Only 60
Let's do some
people?
quick math. 60 and 20 is like, what 12,000 plus change?
Yeah, 60 and 20,
Yeah.
1,200.
1,200, yeah.
1,200.
Yeah.
But that's not all straight profit. That goes into your books. Like, so that's you're not turning that
the
over as
bookstore
revenue.
was valued at $30,000.
Uh-huh.
So he could have sold it for $30,000 to a company that comes in and just absorbs bookstores.
Uh-huh.
And instead, he goes, I have a genius idea. I'm going to raffle it off for $1,200.
Once again on the lunch break, a good Samaritan has turned into a fool.
What? He is a fool.
Well,
that's a stupid thing to do.
Maybe he was just trying to pass it along to somebody. I don't know.
Pass a failing book company
It was
along?
valued at $30,000, Josh. That's
books?
straight profit.
No, because of the books and I'm sure the building by itself was $30,000.
And the guy that won could turn all that around, I suppose. But,
yeah. So 60 people entered the raffle. The guy that won said he was shocked. Well, first off, if this guy couldn't profit, does this guy have quit his job to run this bookstore, or is it only going to be open from 6 to 8 Monday through Friday? What is the plan here?
There are bookstores with worse hours than 6 to 8 Monday through Friday. And yeah, I guess. What do you hire out a staff? Yeah, congrats. Now you're a business owner. Deal with this.
Yeah.
My God.
That's the crazy thing is that now suddenly your entire life is changed. I now own a business.
You're now knee deep in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Well done.
Because along with that is taxes, is rent. There's different things that you have to pay into. You don't just get a company for free,
Right.
and get to this is cool. No, there's responsibility with that.
Right.
And it makes no sense to me. I get it's something that I would do, and then go. I immediately regret making an impulse raffle ticket for a bookstore.
So this guy says Morris said a number of his customers had said that they always fancied running a bookshop. That's what people don't get. Yeah. It's like, man, gosh, it really would be great to own a bookstore, or it'd be great to own a bar. And you look at all the good stuff. You don't think, well, now I got to make payroll, and now I got to order all these books, and now I got to take care of all
Everyone sees
taxes.
Football on Sundays, and I hand out a couple beers, and that's what I do to have a bar. No,
right.
It's a lot of hard work and a lot of drunk idiots you have to deal with day in and day out.
Yeah.
It becomes no longer fun once you own something, and it's your job. It's no longer a fun thing to do. It is work. So it's one of those things you don't really realize when you go, hey, I'm going to get into this.
It is a great switcheroo story, though, isn't it? Because it's like this guy took the jump off the cliff, the leap off the cliff into entrepreneurship, and seconds before he hit the ground, he snapped his fingers and swapped places with somebody else and went, okay, now that I'm out of that, yeah, great, on to the next big venture. Well done, sir. You raffled off your failing business to some poor schmuck who frequented your bookstore. It's a good bit.
I will say this: I had a friend of mine who did something similar of this. It wasn't a raffle, but he got a steal on buying a business. It
Was this a sandwich shop store?
It was a sandwich shop. Yeah, the sandwich shop in.
I can
in,
run a sandwich shop.
Yeah,
I'll run a sandwich shop all day.
in Tyler, Texas. Shameless plug for the sandwich shop, Lola's.
Lola's.
All right.
Sounds like a
Sandwich
good
shop.
place,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you're ever in Tyler, Google it up. They have a phenomenal Cuban.
This is a friend of yours?
Yeah, friend of mine.
Love a good.
Is there a sandwich named after you in this shop?
There's not. I'm working on that though. Slowly.
Is he? We'll take the first question again. Is he a friend of yours? Like, let's revisit that.
I was a groomsman in his wedding.
And he didn't
And you
name
have a
it.
sandwich?
No.
Is that real quick, Matt? Is that like a lifelong dream? Have a sandwich named after you in a shop? Is that,
Yeah.
That's up there for me. I'd like that.
I'd
A
take
menu item.
If we can get that
yeah.
done at the Lincoln Cafe,
Oh, I take one
if
of
they
those.
have a Stoker sandwich, would that be good enough?
I just want it to be the Stoker. That's all it needs to
Stoker.
be. Like, it doesn't need to be.
We'll dig into what goes
Yeah.
into the Stoker in a minute, but I want to
I'll
hear the
have
rest
to
of the
think about
sandwich
it. I
story.
really will.
Please take your time. What goes on a
This is
Stoker?
a big decision. I'm not going to just jump in
I'm
this
just gonna
thing.
willy-nilly jump
willy-nilly,
into it. Yeah. No. So he had he went through and he went to this shop all the time because they had delicious sandwiches. And one day they were just closed up. They had hey, we're done. Can't make it. And turns out they were really good at making sandwiches, really bad at paying taxes. And so they were closed. And so basically the dad bought it for his son, and the son didn't manage it correctly. My friend already owned a business at that point in time. I was like, hey, I have that part kind of down. And so he just kind of jumped in, and all he had to do was pay the taxes, like pay the back taxes, and he owned the whole thing, like the shop and everything. So
Oh, wow.
it was a good position to be in for him. He just kind of like jumped in and got it. And now he owns a business. So the last time he was here, we have a guys weekend every year. We like hang out, play golf, drink, whatever it is. But last time he was here, he was always on his phone, looking at the till, looking at like how things are going,
Oh, God.
sales, reordering. So again, it's a hassle. Like
Yeah.
he enjoys it now, but there will come a time when he's like, ugh, having to go through and do the business part of doing all of that.
Yeah, that sounds horrible.
Quick thing, going back to your question about having your own sandwich.
Uh-huh.
Could it be a regular sandwich that they just change the name, or does it have to be a customed sandwich that's not like a Reuben or hey, I want a BLT but call it the Stoker instead?
Right. Like,
It has to be something different,
well,
right?
you've got to have. I say you got to have at least one ingredient. Like, you can only do so much, right? You can't. There are things that I would put on a sandwich that I would consider acceptable. So that means like I'm not going to stray too far and do like a pig nose sandwich or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
you're not gonna go beef tongue or
No.
like
I'm
whitefish
not
or
going to
anything
do
like
that. Like, it's going to be probably some riff on either a turkey or a roast beef, maybe both. I don't know. I haven't thought about this.
That was just my initial thought. Like I think you can't just take a sandwich that's already there and change the name.
I wouldn't want to do that. No,
Yeah.
if I did, it would have to be you take that sandwich and you throw some hot peppers on that.
Yeah, you like
And then
grill
now-
it or something. Yeah, like do something awesome to it.
Right. Yeah.
'Cause with a name like Stoker, to me, there has to be some sort of smoke attached, like
I can
smoke,
do that. Yeah.
smoke turkey, smoke something.
Right, it's
has
in the
to be
name.
in there. Yeah,
It's in the name.
Stoker. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
So I think you kind of have to incorporate that. Like for me, heart, it had to be something that's just really bad. Like it causes a heart attack. It has to be really like fatty for it to be the heart.
So you think it has to encapsulate?
It doesn't have
if you
to.
can,
It doesn't have to. I think it's just kind
it
of
should
cheeky.
encapsulate the name.
Yeah.
So a good smoked turkey sandwich. Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh, sir.
Now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
Lincoln Center Cafe. Let's talk.
Let's have a conversation. Take a quick break.
Drive
When we
some business.
come back, we have more topics coming up. This one, it was a idiot mistake who parked a car, delayed hundreds for flights, and wrecked travel plans and more.
Wow.
Coming right back on the Lunch Break Show.
It's a good tease.
I just read the headline. Okay. We are back. I was just kind of going through the story about this guy. So, again, an idiotic mistake is correct. I thought this took place overseas because of the way it sounded.
No, this was in Arizona. I
Arizona, yeah, Phoenix.
No surprise, huh?
At the international airport in Phoenix, on this guy basically has a rental car, and instead of going through the normal procedure at an airport, which is you drive to the rental car company and drop it off and check it in,
yeah.
he just pulls up to the front of the gate, like turns the car off, walks inside. There you go. Tosses
Awesome.
the keys are there. You guys know where it is.
Mad respect.
And the thing is, like, I've thought about that before. Like, but again, you know that they'll penalize you. But like, hey, this is where your car is. Get it, don't get it. I don't care. If there was a way I knew I wasn't going to get pegged for that, I would do it all the time.
So I used to work valet at the airport at DFW.
Oh, nice.
DFW International Airport. And the way that worked was it's different than what you think of normal valet, where you're driving up to a one location and people are running out and doing stuff. You'd plan out ahead of time where the person was going to be, and you'd meet them at the gate or as close to the gate as possible in the parking garage. And then you'd take it back to the lot. So there were people there who we'd see them all the time because they'd be traveling for business or something. So they'd show up at 7 a.m., drop their car off, and then pick it back up when they got back in that afternoon or something. They'd do it over and over again. And so there were people who were, I mean, it was pretty wheels off when people would come in. They'd drop their car, like literally just walk out, throw the keys, and head inside. And I'm like, that is gutsy to just be like, I mean, I'm glad they trusted us enough with their car. But it was just no bags, nothing. I'm just walking straight in, hear the keys, and I'm gone. Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
So apparently this guy may have been accustomed to that, and got out, had the keys there. But at an airport, they're pretty particular now with security. So when you see a parked car with no one inside in a place where a parked car with no one inside shouldn't be, it draws some attention.
Right. Yeah.
And so. Yeah, they shut down basically everything, like code red. They had to bring in the bomb squad and break windows and check everything. It was just a rental car, just a normal rental car. Everything was fine, but this guy, either because of laziness or ignorance, one of the two, ruined a ton of people's travel plans.
Yeah.
How good must it have felt to be whoever it was at the airport director or whatever your job is, to get to the end of that long rabbit hole of a car parked in a weird spot and go, so there's nothing in it? And it goes, nope. Bomb squad says totally fine. They're like, what's the guy's name in the car? I'm like, awesome. It's like, who's got his number? Let's call him up.
We're gonna make this guy's day.
Boy, yeah, we can't wait to unload on this guy. My God.
Yeah, or if they called in the code red, which hopefully was soon, but the guy's waiting to board the plane, and they realize, hey, all the flights are canceled, and he hops on Twitter and realizes some silver, silver Corolla or whatever it is parked out in front of main gate 4. That's why we're not going. And he goes, oh, good.
Ooh, man. It would have felt so good to call that guy. Hello, sir. Yeah. Yes, we've got your car.
Yeah, you might want to come talk to us.
Yeah,
we know where you are.
By. Yeah. You know what? In fact, just sit where you're at. We'll get you.
Yeah,
we'll find you. Don't worry.
I've talked about this a lot when it comes to traffic. Where it's like one idiot in traffic can ruin a bunch of people's afternoon or whatever it is you're trying to get to. So yeah, this guy doing it at an airport, I think, is especially egregious because people are already in a bad mood when it comes to the airport. Being at the airport is hard enough as it is. They have enough stuff there to make you late for your flight as it is, without you having to then also come and park your car and create a huge
hassle
problem.
Well, and I don't understand. Here's what I don't understand is that when this does happen, everyone has to for some reason stand in one area. Again, not that I'm a expert in this, but if there was a threat,
now you know where everybody is.
You don't go ahead. You know what? Okay, guys, there's a threat. That's what I didn't like about the school. Hey, everyone meet in the auditorium.
Right.
If there's a problem, we're all gonna file out and why are we putting everybody in one place?
Yeah.
Again, I'm sure there's a strategy for it.
I always land on that when I'm standing in line for the TSA, fuming that I have to wait to get scanned on a body scan. I'm just you realize you bottlenecked everybody. If anybody wanted to do damage here, not giving anybody ideas or anything, God forbid, everybody's in one place. Congrats. You've done
Yeah.
it. Like you put everybody in here in one central location. Well done. Like just seems foolish, but
Yeah, it seems a little weird. But again, I'm sure there's a reason why and a rationale, and fine.
mad respect for the attitude though. God, I always wish I could be that person. Just show up, throw the keys, I'm out. I don't care. Like, yeah, none of this is my problem.
Nothing
Like,
matters anymore.
I think, yeah,
Toss it.
I think too much about the world and consequences to do that. But I wish for just a day, I wish I could be that guy.
So
And,
when I was in the UK and traveling, I rented a car and they gave me an upgrade because of whatever deal I had, and it was a Mercedes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Boom. Didn't pay more for it, just an upgrade. But they told me the
Just living the
insurance.
high life.
Yeah, they told me the insurance to cover damages to that car was $60,000
Ooh.
to cover the damages.
Uh-huh.
So I legitimately was like, should I say yes to this? Because like, in one, it's a Mercedes.
Yeah.
I don't own a Mercedes. It'd be cool to drive one for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah, through Europe on the wrong side of the road. That sounds like something that's a good idea to
It does sound neat.
to jump out of the gate in a country where they're driving completely different than
Right.
I've ever been used to.
Not gonna have a problem here.
In a car that's valued at $60,000 that I didn't take insurance out on
Yeah.
because I've been told that if I have Capital One, which I do, and I use the card to pay for it, Capital One automatically gives you insurance.
Ooh.
So I've been gambling on that
Oh yeah.
every time.
Right.
Go, no, Capital One has me covered.
Yep.
I've read it that, hey, if you purchase the rental with Capital One, you're covered. I don't know what the policy is. I don't know what the amount. Like, you're
You're just
covered
hoping
for
things are
$5.
gonna work itself out.
I saw
Yeah.
some fine print once at the bottom of an ad 5 years
Yeah.
ago, and I've
Yeah.
run on that ever
I'm good.
since.
I'm
yeah,
good.
It's fine.
Yeah. So
Did you
I'm
have
not-
trouble driving overseas?
It took me. So I drove in Barcelona. I drove in France. No problem. Same side of the road.
Yeah.
Really easy to figure it out. It was a mind trick for like 4 or 5 minutes of like starting off, and because I was trying to like play it cool, because I had told my wife that it wasn't going to be a problem. Like, I'm a professional driver.
Yeah.
I have been paid to drive before. I'm a professional driver.
Yeah.
No problem. Inside, day of, behind the wheel, about to pull out at the Heathrow Airport, one of the busiest airports in the world.
Yeah.
A little bit of panic, but I had to play it cool because I had convinced my wife that it was totally going to be cool, and
Were you
she
just
was already
gripping the
nervous.
wheel,
Oh
like-
man, it was like, it was like when you've had a couple beers and you're driving, and you're like, you're like, I know I'm good. I know that I'm able to like drive.
I
but
gotta
like,
be extra good here.
but the radio is off. Like, my seat is
Oh, yeah.
fully upright in
Focus.
position. Yeah. 10 and 2. Like, everything that you have ever been taught is coming into effect about
Yeah.
how I pull out. I'm checking, double checking, all of the. It's kind of like that mentality. Like, you're just super focused on getting from point A to point B. As like 20 or 30 minutes into it, I was fine.
See, that's what I worry about though, is when that hyper focus wears off and then you just fall back into your old habits.
Yeah. Well, I suppose they don't worry about that too much over there, or else they'd make you take some kind of test, right? Instead, it's just like, yeah, you're fine.
You're fine.
You'll figure
yeah.
it out.
Yeah.
You're cleared to drive on that side of the road. What's wrong with this side? Yeah.
The only time I ever got confused, and I played it off, I think, fairly well, is we had just left Heathrow and we were going to Stonehenge. And we parked at Stonehenge, and we didn't go inside because we were about to close or whatever it is. We didn't plan that correctly. My fault. And we were getting back in the car, and I hadn't prepared myself. And so I was driving and talking, trying to set the map for the next place we were going to. And I was on the American right side of the road.
Uh-huh.
And my wife goes, "Oh, hey, Josh." Like, oh, and there's like a bus coming at me. Yeah. But that was the only time I had that mental, I have to always stay focused on.
Right.
But by the time, a day or two in,
I imagine at some point you're just following the other cars.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had really good arrows. This is correct. So I guess they have enough foreigners who drive in their country. They go, hey, everything is mapped out. Follow arrows. You can only go here. You can't. They were very precise.
Well, yeah, it's not just us that drives on the right side of the road. The world's not catering to us. It's
No.
most of the world. I think
Most of the
drives
world does, yeah.
drives that way. So
I think Ireland did the other side of the road. Scotland did, and the UK did. But Barcelona was on the right side. France is on the right side. That was no issue at all.
yeah.
So with the Mercedes, did you get it or did you?
Oh, I got it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and panic for the first hour going, this is a really dumb idea. I'm going to total this thing because I'm confused about driving and doing roundabouts. Because the roundabouts, and again, I'm getting off on a weird tangent about driving in the UK, and I apologize. But on the roundabouts, there's no stop sign. It's just you just enter when you can, and there's no said policy. It's really cool once you get used to it. I
like them a lot. Yeah, I like them a lot.
But in the UK, they're everywhere. Basically every intersection is almost like a roundabout where you're just hey, I'm cool, and you can jump in and you can take as many laps as you need to get where you need to go to get off.
Right.
Because everyone is a little poke. So I was worried about those. But when I got to Inverness, which is the top part of Scotland, to turn the car in, no one was there to check me out. I've been fooled by this before, so I got out and I had a newspaper. I took a picture with the car and the newspaper. Nice. I had a video walk around here. No damages, no damages, no damages. I'm at the airport. Here's the date. No damages.
Yeah, that's great.
Just hey, I am, because I knew
you didn't just toss the keys and walk in.
Yeah, because for me, I've seen. There's been times before where I've turned a car in, no one's been there. I'm oh, I trust you guys. You're a reputable organization.
Nope.
And I've been pinged. Oh, we found a scratch. But you didn't have any proof because no one was there to verify it. So,
right.
A little pro tip. You can do a quick record, walk around the car, hold the newspaper up so they see the date. A little pro tip.
That is a pro tip.
We have one other thing. Did y'all guys talk about this on Friday? I wanted to get into it. The guy who's being hailed as a hero, but to me comes off as a little bit creepy. He emailed every single Nicole at a college.
No.
This is new.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and again, you may want to start looking up the story to fact check me because I have a bad memory. But what I remember of it is he was on he met a girl at either a bar or some club, and she said her name was Nicole. And so they had a good time, and the number that he received was an incorrect number. Been there,
Sure.
So instead of taking it like a gentleman and going, clearly it was not a mutual feeling.
Got it. Yeah.
She must have made a mistake.
Well, she was drinking.
And gave me the wrong number. How foolish of that, Nicole. Yeah. That's such a Nicole thing to do.
It was dark. Maybe she couldn't tell. Or maybe he was trying to read a 3 and thought it was a 6 or something.
Who knows? Who knows? A 7 and a 1.
Yeah.
A lot of variables. So instead, what he does is he knows what school she said she went to, and he went to that registry of that school, which how you get that information
that's a surprise.
Is a shock to me, and emailed every single person enrolled in that university, both staff and faculty, both faculty and student body, with the first name Nicole, Nikki, or any variation of those two, to find and track her down. And was hi, we met at this place, this time, da-da-da.
Yeah.
Talked about if you are this person and you meant to give me the wrong phone number, no harm, just ignore this email. If you gave me the wrong phone number by accident, here is mine, feel free to call me. And so all the Nicoles gathered together. Apparently they started this whole trend on this email thread.
Sure.
Let me just read this guy's email first. Because
I paraphrase it, obviously.
Yeah. It says, "Hi, this is a mass email to all Nicoles. If you don't fit the description, then ignore. And if you are the one and just don't want to talk to me, that's okay as well." So that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
it wasn't overly aggressive.
Right. He wasn't
It's not fine, but go ahead.
Well, look, he said, you don't have to talk to me.
No.
He's just,
no.
This is a missed connection.
Nope. If you know what? I'll get to it in a minute. Keep going. I want you to finish
That's fine.
Yeah.
He says, if your name is Nicole and you're from Holland and you think Nietzsche is depressing, then text me at this number. I'm Carlos, by the way. I'm the guy who took you and your friend home last night.
Oh.
So that's what he said. And then, yes. Okay, please tell me what is... I mean, look... I can understand arguments that the links he went to is weird. Okay? That's
say the
fine.
least.
Yeah. We're all on that same page.
In a romantic comedy, that would have been seen as romantic. But in the real world, it's a little weird.
In the Me Too movement, that's seen as being a little bit aggressive.
It's right. A little weird.
And this is why I would say he did that whole thing wrong. If you're going to email a bunch of women that all share the same name, and you're trying to get one message to all of them to try to single out one, at that point, you need to appreciate that you're not just fishing for one fish, all right? You're dropping that fishing line in a school full of fish. So you shouldn't just be going for the one Nicole. You should be like, "Hi, I'm a total Chad that was at the bar last week, and I managed to get every single one of your numbers. And while I'm looking for one of you, fact is, I'm available. And if you're impressed by a stunt like this, give me a call at." That should have been it. And I guarantee he would, at least one Nicole would have been like, "Yep, okay, whatever this guy's doing, I'm into it." Like that. Go for Ferris Bueller level shenanigans with that. That's where you go. That guy approached that as a Cameron Fry, and he shouldn't have. He should have been Ferris. He should have leaned right into that,
But that
and
makes
been
it
like,
more
"I know
creepy, doesn't
exactly
it?
what I'm about, and if you're about it too, give me a call," and it might have worked out.
He didn't lie to any of these.
Yeah.
Any of these.
I-
Any of these
Yeah,
people.
and he looked like a chump doing it. Like, come on.
Okay, first off, what is a
Hi,
total
I'm Carlos,
Chad?
and you messed your number up, and I just wanted to see if you're available.
So
Like,
you're-
come on.
Okay, so you're saying that his problem was not that what he was doing is creepy. It's just that he looked like a total
Yep.
Doofus.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
like
why
a
we're talking about it
pansy.
right now.
He
If
looks like a pansy
Come
doing
on.
it because he gave him an out.
Just
Because he
like-
was
just like the
"If-
guy
If you
at
don't
the-
want to talk to me, that's okay.
Like the guy at the airport, right? Like we said, he rolled in, he throws his keys, he doesn't care. If this guy had
All
done
right.
that, you got a story. Because
really
at least I
curious
had
to know-
respect for him. At least I had, I wish I could have been that guy. If this guy had come in with a hot email that was hilarious and witty and fun and pointed, you might have something. And he'd probably have a date. But did he end up tracking this Nicole down? I'm curious.
Yes.
He did actually.
He did.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't because of the email. Apparently, she didn't get, like, she was an exchange, whatever. She wasn't on.
She doesn't have a university email address.
Nice.
Yeah.
So he missed
But all the
completely.
Nicoles got together, and they were like basically having it got like attention that way.
Right.
And then she saw that.
Got it.
So they have gone on a date since then because she said it was an accidental. But here's my question: was it a truly accidental, or because she got found out?
Well, she
felt
didn't have
bad
to speak
about it?
up. I mean, she didn't have to say anything. I
That's
guess.
true, I guess.
No, I
me,
think it
would've
was
felt-
on purpose. She
I
was trying
would've
to
felt,
dodge him.
I would have felt shame. Like, oh no, it was an accident. I didn't mean to put 214. I meant 972.
Yeah, I think the kind of woman who would intentionally give you the wrong number would see this happening and go, well, like she didn't want to be mean and tell him no. She didn't want to tell him, you're not cool, whatever. She gave him a fake number because she didn't want to hurt his feelings. Then when she sees this all going down, she's like, well, I should do the right thing, go on a date with a guy, which is not necessarily the right thing.
Yeah.
No, I don't think anybody looks at that and considers that has to be the right thing.
When I was in Oklahoma, we were doing a radio bit, and it was like basically we gave you a number to give out if you were a lady, and you were at a bar and didn't want to give out, like you had like a number ready to go. And that number went back to a messaging machine that we had two girls like, hey, sorry you missed us. Call us.
Yeah.
And then we would just play back the messages. And
Wait, could you do that?
yeah,
without-
because if they call the station, it's fine.
But they didn't know they were calling the station.
Doesn't matter. If you call the radio station,
Really?
you can play that.
Oh, man.
Well, at least that's how we were going in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I think there might be a loophole there. That you guys
Yeah,
are-
like that sounds a little spicy.
Because most, and this is going to be an earth-shattering moment if you're unaware, most radio bits are fake.
Yeah.
Yes.
They have callers and actors that do all the different stuff. Sorry to pull the curtain back, but a lot of them are fake. This one was legitimately, it was a voicemail we gave out every single morning. Hey, girls, we're going out to a bar on Friday. Here's the number to write down. If a guy approaches you and you don't want him to, oh, man. And the messages we got were classic. I loved that bit. And if we had the ability
That's
to
a
do
really
it
good
with
one.
us.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
good
a really
bit.
good one.
Yeah. If we had the ability to do it on the lunch break show and just play back the most desperate,
Oh, man.
like just sad, just reeking of like, and again, it could have been fake people calling in who had the number. I don't care because it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was like, hey girl, what's up, baby? We just met. Like it was like just the cheesy. Like no wonder she gave you the fake number. That I will say was I got a glimpse in what it must be like to be a girl
yeah.
on a bar with just like the. Now you said Chad. Is Chad a good thing?
No, Chad. Well, kinda, I guess. Chad is a term. Matt, you want to help me out with this? Because I'm not. I'm a little brushed up on my. Chad is a term to typically refer to a what is commonly referred to on the internet as like an alpha male. You're a dude with a six pack who's
D-bag.
crushing beers every weekend and
How
wearing
is
an Ed
that a-
Hardy shirt, and you're like the most bad. You think you're the greatest,
Yeah, yeah.
right? You're the guy at the airport
Like overly
throwing your rental
confident.
car.
Overly
keys.
confident,
Like,
I think is
yeah,
probably
way overly confident.
Okay.
Like,
I've only known like 3 or 4 Chads, but that fits the
I mean,
description.
I know a couple Chads, and they're not necessarily that way. I don't know how the term came around that, like, oh, this guy's a total Chad, but, like, I don't know. I just always associated it as a funny one-off term. One thing, real quick, before we move past this. for anybody out there, because I got family in Michigan that fall for this every time. I told them, I said, hey, bad news, guys, because they'll, I used to do radio stuff and still kind of do in a way, I guess, and they always say, oh man, there's this great radio bit up here, or this show you got to listen to that's awesome, and I love them to death for telling me about it. But whenever I told them, hey, bad news, most radio bits you hear are fake, and they go, oh, I believe that, but this one I got is totally wrong. I'm like, no, that one's definitely fake. Like, if you're hearing that advice and thinking, well, I believe that, but this one from my hometown, no way, that one's fake. I would
say with 99% certainty that every prank call you hear is fake.
Yep.
It has to be.
War of the Roses is fake.
Fake. Yeah. And I fell for that one for a long time. To be fair, it's a good bit. I fell for War of the Roses because I was like this tall and I was in Houston and didn't know any better.
Yeah. So I remember I told my sister-in-law about that, and she was like, "What?" Like, all those
it's a
bits.
Brilliant bit.
Yeah, they're all.
Which is sad because like there are classic bits that go. I mean the great John Cena bit where they keep calling the woman to get her to order the wrestling pay-per-view, which is a great bit and it's funny, but it's fake. It has to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Like here's the way that you should think about this. If you're like heartbroken, this is true. It's just like reality TV. Reality TV is fake. There's directors, there's reshoots, there's know that no one has the perfect camera angle for this earth-shattering news that they're about to hear, that there's a surprise, like whatever. Like it's all planned out and structured, and they have real people with scripted lines that are doing a reality-style show. It's fake. Same thing for radio. We're meant to if you're being entertained, then enjoy that.
Yeah, it's like basically it's I don't even know if they go so far sometimes as to give them lines, but it's like, hey, you're about to get a call from the radio station, you're about to be on the air.
Yeah, well,
when they call you, they say, hey, it's the radio station, you're going to be on the air.
With our actors over at a Dallas-based station. Oh no, I'll say the Edge because the Edge is no more. So the Edge, we would give them lines. Hey, say this. Right. Here is your script. I have been a caller on said fake stations for other friends of mine who work for a different format in a different city who would call and be like, hey, would you mind being a total Chad on this second date update? Sure, no problem.
It's a good term.
Yeah.
You're gonna shop that around a little bit. I'm telling you, it feels good to say.
It does.
Like, oh, guys, a total Chad.
I feel a lot cooler now that I'm saying
you should.
I'd also like to point out on the flip side of that, the callers that you hear to talk shows, those are real. And that's the sad. That's the very. I wish they were fake.
Political talk shows,
but those are real.
Yeah, those are probably real.
Yeah. People who call in, those are real.
Yeah.
If they ever call someone, those are fake.
Yeah.
So just
if you're ever calling out, that's not legit.
Yeah,
good to know.
Because you can't air those legally without saying, "Hey, you're on the radio." You can't do those.
I feel like War of the Roses in Houston used to do that every once in a while, though, dude, to like make it seem real. Like, but I think that was a pre-recorded bit, and they would pepper it in to make it seem like, "Hey, you're on the radio, just so you know." Yeah, okay. Or they'd be, "Hey, turn down your radio," or like some kind of line like that that makes it feel
real,
legit.
But it's not.
It's good entertainment
because Again, we're getting way off in the weeds on this, but we're all like radio producers, and so like from a radio production, like it takes so long to find someone who's actually good on the radio that wants to talk about their horrible dating life. Like this is just a really weird combination you have to find of someone who can tell an engaging story and that's super embarrassing or super great. Like those people don't exist in reality.
Right. It's way easier and cheaper to find somebody to say some canned lines than to find somebody who means it.
Think about all the conversations you've had with your friends and ask yourself, do I want to listen to these for entertainment? That's the way most people are.
Yeah.
Right.
So I apologize again for one, talking about it for 10 minutes that no one really cares about.
We care.
We care. Yeah, we got into some radio nerd talk, and I apologize. We'll be back, though, on Friday. I do wish you guys would hop on and leave us a hot comment. I know that Zach is searching all the people on Twitter. He said there are some lively people that have jumped in.
I'm a big fan of the Twitter audience. But we'll talk about that after the show. It's fine. Yeah.
And then Twitter. We also have Facebook and YouTube. And now here's the thing I do want to talk about live on the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've brought up adding Ustream.
Yeah.
And I believe the expression from Zach was, "Are we that kind of show where we're gonna was it degrade ourselves?
Right.
Degrade ourselves to pick up what's so bad about Ustream?
It's okay. I'm trying to think of a good analogy for this. I don't really have one. It's just from personal experience. Like I remember back in the day when we were podcasting back when I was getting into podcasting in college, we wanted to talk about live streaming, and Facebook Live wasn't a thing yet. Like that didn't exist. You know, Periscope hadn't come around yet. So we were trying to figure out the best way to do it, and we ended up going with Ustream. We're like, yeah, it'll work. Man, I wrestled with that thing every week. It was clunky. It was laggy. It didn't work. Their interface sucked. I couldn't get live streams to work half the time. Like, I struggled so much with Ustream. So when we talk about using it, I'm sure it works better now. And if I'm not on some free college plan like I was, I'm sure it's better. But all of my experience with it has led me to think like, oh God, Ustream? Like that's so 2000 late. We already did that. Like, and it didn't work then, and it won't work. But for what it's worth, hey, it's another venue. Why not?
I'll update you. If we have to pay to be on it, then never mind. We won't.
Okay, well that might change our tune.
Yeah. We're not paying to be on some place when we get Facebook for free.
Yeah,
and YouTube for free, and Twitter for free.
And I guess that's what it is like Ustream's just, didn't it kind of get left behind? I mean, yeah, look at Facebook and Periscope and YouTube. Like, everybody else is doing live now. Where's Ustream? Where's like the cool Ustream app? Where's Ustream's cool podcast? Like, so when we say, hey, let's go to
I have the cool Ustream app.
Okay.
And, yeah, you can watch there's two things I watch on Ustream, which is the Smalls Jazz Club in Brooklyn, New York. They broadcast all of their like jazz sessions.
Sure.
So at night you can put on like a live jazz session and like close your eyes and you're in Brooklyn.
It's kind of neat.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And they have
Transport
like
yourself away.
yeah. And the other one they have is like the Penguin Cam, or like the different zoos have like cams of just like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week of the exhibit. You can like see them swimming.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
All right.
So two things that have nothing to do with us.
Small niche jazz clubs and zoos.
And there's also
lunch
a
break.
Filipino radio station that streams on Ustream.
Okay, that does sound kind of
I
think we fit right into that.
I don't know what they're saying, but they're laughing continuously during it. And it made my wife laugh. She understands Tagalog. And she goes, I don't know, like, it doesn't make sense to me, but because they're having a good time and they're laughing, I'm laughing as well.
Contagious laughter.
There you go. There you go. Some fun shop talk. You guys have a great day. We'll see you back here on Friday. Enjoy yourself, and I'll see you soon.